Welcome students in the class of Basic Civil Engineering. In today's lecture, we are going to see the planning of residential building and even how to or study of the building plans. So in this lecture, we will begin with the selection of site and uh, will end this planning of residential building up to the orientation, that is with the planning principles. Now, first thing we are going to do while constructing any building, that is selection of site or the purchasing of land for particular residential building. So, what are the factors affecting in the selection of site? The first thing is topography. So, what this topography means? So, whether you are choosing site that is undulated, it has the slope, or it is uh, at low lying area, or it is at height. So all these things comes under the topography. So basically the land should be of plain nature. It should not be undulating, so that not much cutting and filling of land to make it plain is there. But as well, as we have to consider, there should be some slope which help us to uh, or drain out the water or rainwater which do not stay in the particular site. So these sites need site needs some slope in one direction. Then second is the nature of subsoil. So the soil has been divided into so many categories, whether we have the hard rock or the murum or the black cotton soil. So that depends. If we have the black cotton soil, we don't have the bearing capacity to hold the building. So we have to go for the rather raft or the pile foundation, that is deep foundation, as we have seen in last lecture. So obviously it costs more to construct these kind of foundations. So and in case of rock, there will be a problem of uh, taking pits and or the excavation for the foundation. So that also be the avoided. So the murum and murum plays the perfect, or it is the perfect for the building. Then the position of groundwater level. So in the ground the water is present, that is called as a groundwater, and the level of this water is called as a groundwater table. So the groundwater table should be at lower uh, height, because sufficiently lower height, because if the groundwater table is high, so it tends to uplift the building. So those things also should be avoided. Then the facilities. So uh, basically while choosing any site for the residential building, uh, the people used to take care of the all facilities has been available, but that is on the sufficient large distance, or the at sufficient distance, because if we have the theater or the schools near the home, so we have to face the noise from the schools or the theaters, so that even the market also. So these things should be at sufficient distance from the home, which should be walkable or accessible, but there should be at sufficient or at the uh, distance, at few distance from the home. In the neighborhood, the human used to prefer the live with the people of same nature. Even when we have the friend, we used to prefer the people which is, or those who are having the same thinking, or of same nature, even in case of food, culture, etc. And we have the diversity in our country. So again, this is also the important thing, that we used to prefer the same community people, rather than with living with the different community people. So even community means the financial aspect also coming into the picture. So we used to prefer the live with the same financial status of our, or the similar financial status, we choose that locality. So this is also important while selecting the site. Then certain things those should not be near to the site. These things are like cemeteries म्हणजे स्मशानभूमी, then uh, the mental hospitals, then the kilns which produce the uh, smogs or the fumes. So those should not be near to the site. Even sometimes some industries also we need to avoid those, should not be, our site should not be there. Then the vegetation. So while going on the site or choosing the site, we need to see what kind of vegetation is present on the site, and how much vegetation should be removed or it should be less as compare. So that can be seen while choosing the site. Then the shape of the site. So while preferring, the shape of the site should be most of the times rectangular rather than square. Also most of the times it should be rectangular. So the shape of the sides, uh, rather than any other shape, it should be rectangular. Then availability of main and materials. So the availability of main and material for the construction and as a labor, so these things should be taken care of, whether near the site the material is available and even the labors are available or not. Because if both things are not available, to procure those things, it is quite uh, costly, and also it will increase the cost of the construction. So those things should be taken care of. Then last point is the proximity to seashore. That is, shall we choose the site to the seashore or not? This thing have the advantages as well as disadvantages also. So what are the advantages? So if we choose the site to the seashore, so obviously the breeze coming in, that gives a exhilarating effect to the occupants of the home. And even the scenery of the seashore, that is sometimes, if you go on the west coast, that is the sunset, and on the east coast it is sunrise. Both are the things, or the scenes are the um, good scenes, and those can be preferred. Uh, but there are some disadvantages also. First disadvantage is the in proximity to seashore, that areas have the high humidity in the air, so that tends to corrode the metallic things. So that is first problem. And second problem is due to this uh, high humid winds coming through the air, or due to some salty winds, uh, we feel uncomfortable sometimes uh, in proximity to the seashore. So these are the advantages and disadvantages, and these are all points for the site selection. Now the principles of planning. So what is mean by planning? By planning we mean pre-thinking and pre-arranging the things before an event takes place in order to get best results in comfort, convenience, health, happiness, and efficiency. The object of planning of building is to arrange and set out all different units so as to satisfy their functional requirement to maximum extent by making use of available space. So there are different components of the building, or rather say different rooms of the building, which are having different functions. Like in living room we used to serve the guest, or we used to spend the time together, or even sometimes watching TV, or chit chatting. In kitchen we used to prepare the food and serve the food. Even sometimes the dining room has been also separately placed. There we used to serve the food. In bedroom we used to take a rest, or we used to take a sleep sometimes. We used to work in also in that area in Indian condition particularly. Sometimes in if you have the place or the space, we used to prefer another room that is called as a library or the study. In the foreign countries that concept is there, but in our country, due to unavailability of space, and due to most of the people are below poverty line, so this concept is not there. And even we have the units like bathroom and water closets, etc. So these are having different functions, and by arranging these all units to satisfy the functional requirement and to maximize the extent of making use of available space is the object of planning. The planning of such building is governed by the many factors like climatic condition, site, location, functions, surrounding conditions, etc. Now, what are the principles of planning? The basic planning principles of planning are aspect, prospect, privacy, roominess, grouping, circulation, furniture requirement, flexibility, sanitation, elegance, and economy. Actually, if you prefer the book of Kumar Swamy, that is building planning, they have the another aspect, another principle of planning, that is practical consideration. We will discuss later. So, what is aspect? So, aspect is the proper placement of different rooms of buildings so that occupants can enjoy the gift of nature like sunshine, breeze, views of landscape at a different hours of the day. Actually, I want to modify this thing. That is, it is not just the proper placement of the different rooms, it is the placement of door and windows, or rather opening in the external walls of the rooms or the buildings to enjoy the occupants the gifts of the nature like sunshine, breeze, view of landscape at different hour of the day. Then aspect is not only provide the comfort, but it is important from the hygienic point of view also. By careful disposition of doors and windows in external walls, it is possible to admit sun's ray and air into any desired room. So this is important, that is careful disposition of doors and windows in external walls, so that we can have the sun's ray and air into desired room. So aspect depends upon the direction of sunlight and air and rain, etc. So here you can see this is the aspect diagram. So particularly this aspect diagram has been prepared by considering the Indian conditions, because in different countries we have the different conditions. Basically we are, or our country has been located in the northern hemisphere. So in southern hemisphere when we have the different season, in southern hemisphere the different season is there. So this particular aspect diagram is not uh, applicable for that region, because in our country, if you observed, our in our country the sun is from this southern side. In whole year it is from the southern side, that is it travels from southern side, because we are at a we are in a northern hemisphere, and in southern hemisphere it is from the northern side, because it it is at the tropic region. So it is there. So the countries of different region have the different aspects. So first we need to think or keep in mind all these things. So the conditions in India are not there in countries like Australia or even in the countries like Russia also. So there the conditions are different. So we need to think differently in those countries. So moving to the aspect now. So here you can see in northern region, in north side of the home, these rooms should be located. That is study room, storeroom, or staircase. Why these rooms has been placed over there, or the windows of this room on the northern side? So the thing is, from northern side, the glare free sunlight or the glare free light is enter into the house. So direct sunlight is not entering from this side because the sun is present on the southern side entire year. So we have to provide the study room, storeroom, and staircases on the northern side to have the uh, sunlight, glare free sunlight. And even in storeroom and staircase, we does not need that much of light even. And to the west, we have to provide a bedroom. So the advantage of this thing is from southwest we are having cool breeze in summer. Basically we are the tropical country, and we have the most of the times we have the high temperatures in our country. So to have cool breeze in summer, which will help us to keep the rooms cool in summer. Then the living drawing room or verandas to the southern portion. That is, here we are having the sunlight in entire year, so we can place the living room also there. But while planning, keep this thing in mind. As per Vastu Shastra, we have to keep the main entrance door of our house either to the east, to the north, and sometimes to the west, and never to the south. So even we are providing or preferring the south aspect for the living room, we have to provide the doors to the east, north, and west. Also, this should not be entire to the south. We can choose the southern east or southeast or southwest aspect also for the living room, or that corner we can provide the living room. Now the kitchen should be in east direction because sun rises from the east, and the kitchen window should be in eastern direction, so that the morning sunlight should enter into the kitchen room, because the morning sunlight has the bactericidal properties, that it kills the bacteria, so that the kitchen the bacteria in the kitchen gets killed in the morning, and provide a good environment in the kitchen when we provide the kitchen to the east. So this is all about the aspect or the aspect of each room. Now the prospect refers to the view as seen of the outside from the windows in general and doors in external wall. It is determined by the view as desired from the certain rooms of the building, such as view of the garden, beautiful scene, and nearby hills, etc. So basically, the good scenery provides a positive environment in the building, and if we have something bad or a few dull areas or something which should be avoided to be seen, so this can be achieved from the prospect, that we have to provide the windows on those side where the good scene or scenic views are available. So prospect includes taking full advantage of the beauties of the nature in the landscape by revealing to the occupants certain pleasant features, and at the same time concealing some undesirable views in the given outlook. So we have to conceal or not provide any window to the some undesirable views by not providing windows on that particular side. Prospect depends on the surrounding of the building. So this is the prospect with projecting windows. Here you can see the inside observer is there, and this is the desired view, that is for unprojecting window. This is the less view desired. When the less view is desired, this kind of windows has been provided. Then these kind of bay windows can be provided by when the large view is desired, or sometimes the good view is around, then we can provide these kind of windows. And by providing these kind of windows, we can avoid unwanted views, that by these small windows the observer cannot see the much of the outside, so that can be avoided. And even the light also comes for the basic needs. So this is about the prospect. So this is all about today's lecture. In coming lecture, we are going to see the remaining planning principles and the orientation. Thank you.